Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. In this video tutorial, I'm going to explain you how to print a string in x86 assembly. And we are going to use Irvine built-in library function, and the function name is writestring. The only requirement of this library function is offset of that string that you want to print on the screen must be stored in EDX register or extended data register. Let me write the code and explain you how one can use this function. So first of all, we need to create the variable, and variable creation is always done under the data section of the program. So we will start our code dot data and we will create a variable, and this time this variable will hold that string that we want to print. So let's say I want to print string welcome on the screen. Okay, so I will create a variable. Let's say its name is string. So string is the name of the variable and its type will be byte, and the variable will hold string which is welcome and comma 0. I have already done the tutorial on how to create the variables. So if you are not familiar, so I would really recommend to go and follow that tutorial first. You will understand how to create the variable. But before we proceed further in this video tutorial, I really want you to understand what actually happens when this line is executed. And so if you really want to imagine how your memory would look like, so it will look like this. I'm just taking a random or imaginary memory in front of you, but the point is, we want to really understand the concept of string, how strings are actually saved in the memory. So if you look at, this is some random address. I'm just starting at 0. At 00 location, it is the address, and the data is stored is W. And W, I've just written W here. Of course, the equivalent code of the ASCII equivalent code of this W will be stored at this location, and it will be of 1 byte. So that is why I've mentioned here 1 byte. And on the next line or in the next memory location, it will be E. And in the very next location, L, C, O, M, E. And when your string is terminated, you will see this 00, which indicates your string, which was started from this point, is now terminated. Okay, so this is the address of this string, the starting address, and that is what we call offset of the string must be stored in EDX. So if we really want to point to this W, we can simply move this value into EDX register. And how would you do it? Let me show. In code section where you will write your code, you will first use move EDX. We want to move into EDX, and what we want to move? Offset. Offset of what? String. String is the name of the variable. So if you remember this thing, string is the name of the variable and its offset. So what is going to happen if this imaginary memory, if we assume that it is the right memory, so this memory address will move into EDX. So in Visual Studio, I will show you that this address will definitely move into the EDX once you execute this line. So what should be the next line? The only requirement of write string function was offset of the string must be stored in EDX, and it is already done now. And we will simply call this function. And how would you call it? In the code section, you will simply add a line call write string, and that's it. Your code is complete. So what will happen? This function will call this address and start printing this string welcome, welcome, and it will stop printing it when it finds this 00 or null terminator which was defined over here. So I hope you have understand it. Let's go to the Visual Studio environment. So I've just copied and pasted the same code in the sample format, which we have already learned in the previous video tutorial. So these are the same line that I just explained you, and we will build this code. So the code is built successfully without any error. We will debug it. But why I'm going to debug it? Because I want to show you the memory. So if I go to start debugging, so if you do not see this register or memory window in your debugging mode, it's quite simple to enable them. If you are in your debugging mode, so go to debug, go to Windows, and you will find register in the very last. You just click over here, this window will appear in front of you. Uh, Probably it will be docked, so I've just undocked it. And similarly, you can go to debug Windows, and in Windows you will find memory, and you have four of different options available. I've just choose memory one, so this is my memory section. In memory section, you simply write ampersand. Ampersand means you're pointing to the right that specific variable that you want to see in the memory, and that variable is right now string. So I'm writing ampersand string, and I will simply click it. So once you click it, you will see so many locations. Okay, this location, this is the address of the location, and this is one location, and then there is next location. So what I want them just to show single location in one line. So I will just squeeze this window, specific letter as well, or the character as well. So W is shown here just for our convenience, but its code is stored into the memory, and it is 8-bit value, and its address is what? 00A06000. Okay, so I already told you it will be some random address. It will be automatically chosen by the assembler. But what is important to note here, days are stored in the memory in consecutive location. And if you follow, you see here dot, but it is nothing but a terminator, which I told you. So when call write string function will be executed, this will print from this address and keep printing until it find this 00. So let's see. So if I'm gonna execute this line, what is going to happen? That this very first address 0A00600 should go to EDX register. Where is EDX register? This is your EDX register. See, the content is right now different, and when I'm gonna execute it, you will see this address will go into EDX. So let's see. I'm gonna execute one line, step into, and if you notice it, this line is executed. Now arrow is here. So if you see this address 00A06000 is right now loaded into EDX, which was the uh, result of this instruction. And after that, you simply execute call write string. What it will do for you, it will simply print this string function. So let me execute it, step into. So if you go to your console, you will see welcome is printed on your screen. So I hope you have understood the concept of call write string and its requirement. And still, if you have any query, you can post your queries in comment section. Thank you so much for listening.